you come back here to the States and all the teenagers want an iPod or an iPhone or a computer or a video game or some kind of video PlayStation console, and there they just want shoes or a shirt, something simple to actually let them get day to day. The second thing that I noticed about Kenya especially is that they're very receptive to the gospel. I've been to a number of places, I think 4 or 5 places around the world, and this was the most open I've ever experienced. We would go into a hut, no electricity, mud walls, and you sit there and you tell them about the story of Jesus, and you tell them about Christ dying on the cross, and it's the first time they've heard it. They've never experienced the story, and right on the spot they're like, this is true. I want what you're offering. So you say, would you like to pray? And they say yes. We must have prayed with dozens and dozens of people.
When you got off the airplane and went to visit the people, what was the biggest difference, would you say, between here and there?
Right off the bat, the biggest difference was that every street, every road, people were walking on it. Freeways, highways, it didn't matter. You had thrones of people on either side walking in any direction. And here you don't see that. You see them on the crosswalks, maybe on some pedestrian type streets, but definitely not on the freeways and highways. But they walk everywhere.
And so then they're probably thin people.
There were some who were heavier and some who were thinner. Yeah, it just depended on how wealthy they were, how much food they could afford. Most of the people didn't travel very much at all. So when we went out into the interior of Kenya, those people had never left the village they were born in, and they never intended to leave the village they were born in. And the people who were in the cities, they would travel from city to city, but I ran across very few people who had ever been outside of Kenya.
Really?
And Kenya is unlike America, where unless you want to go to Canada or Mexico, you have to cross a huge ocean to get to wherever you want to go.
Right.
Kenya has many nations surrounding it on all sides, except on the east side, which has an ocean. But I think it's like 4 or 5 bordering nations, but most of Kenyans don't ever leave where they were born. It's not that big of a deal to go somewhere else. So when an outsider comes in, they're very, very curious about you. And I think that was one reason why the children were so attracted to me, because they had never seen a white person, and going into a little village or town that had all black people, and they had never laid their eyes on an actual living white person. I was like a circus act to them. Like,
Really?
Let's go and ask the white lady all these different questions. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Very curious.
What were the young people your same age like?
They were much like me. They cared about the popular people, I guess, their celebrities of that day. They cared about what was going on in their lives. They were really into that kind of gossip. They were also inside the church. They were really interested in trying to throw out tradition and do things their own way. And just as we are here in America, we're starting new churches just because we want to sing different songs than the older congregations. And they are having a difficult time, as we are here, of blending the new generation and the old generation. And we want to blend with the culture as well. So our music is influenced by the culture with which it's born from. Just like in the 60s, the worship songs and the hymns that were sung from the youth at that point inside the church was greatly influenced by the rock and roll movement that was just coming out. Every generation has its own music, and every generation of new believers tries to implement that music style, which ticks off the older people because they like their music.
Right.
So
Right.
I think we just all need to just sing what we want and get along.
And the league that you play in, as far as volleyball?
Is CA to CC.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure what it stands for, but it's CA
And
to CC.
how did you feel your preparation, your coaching, and your academics here at Rosamond High? Did that prepare you pretty well?
Yeah, my volleyball coach prepared me really well for the conference that we played in for volleyball. But playing in that conference, it made me a better player because of the competition. So, because the competition in Rosamond wasn't that great, but playing in the conference made me a lot better player because the competition competition was a lot tougher.
Not everybody gets the chance to have a full ride, or pretty much a full ride for athletics. What's that really like on a day-to-day basis?
Some days I would be practicing 2 times a day because of playing 2 sports. And plus on top of academics, it's a lot of work. People don't know how much work and time you put into it, but it takes a lot of preparation. Like preseason for volleyball, we practiced 3 times a day.
Wow.
And then when school started, it came down to 1 practice, but then I'd have practice for softball. So it was just a lot. I'd be going to bed around 2 just because of homework and practice. It's a lot of work, but I like it. It keeps me busy. Out of trouble. Depending on the distance of the games, we travel by bus, we travel by van, we travel by plane. It just all depends.
Wow, and big seasons.
Oh yeah.
A lot of games.
Yeah.
Huh?
For volleyball, we had about 28 games, and then that's the same for softball. So this is my plan. I want to graduate with my bachelor's in criminal justice, and then get my master's there. And while I'm getting my master's, I want to coach.
Oh, good.
Because if I coach for softball, then they'll pay for my tuition for my master's.
Oh, nice.
And it only takes 2 years. So I'm going to master in criminal justice, and then come back out here and work.
And the academics, you felt well prepared by the teachers at Rosamond High?
Well prepared.
Isn't that great tribute to them?
Yes. They did a really good job.
That's great to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, you had a great year with the runners, and I watch it on YouTube every now and then.
Me too. I watch it like every week. I still jump when we score.
Yeah, does that really happen, you know?
I know. Wear my ring every day.
Yeah.